Ah, he blew the red. Saving that on the dash cam. What is going on YouTube? Hayden here, and today my good friends over at Viofo sent me their A119M Pro, their newest camera to the fleet, for review. So today we're going to be installing this camera, testing it out, and seeing what all the hype is about. Now, not only did they send me the A119M Pro to review, but they also sent a couple of other goodies in the packaging, which is an SD card, which I've already kind of put in here, as well as the Dashcam HK6 Hardwire kit, which from my understanding is their ultimate hardwire kit. Like, it's one and done. You buy this thing and you have everything you need. In the past, you used to have to buy different types of fuse taps as well as fuses, but gone are those days where you'd have to buy several different things to get this to work. It is now an all-in-one kit, which is an awesome idea. And again, kudos to Viofo for constantly being the #1 dash cam, constantly upgrading, constantly listening to reviewers' advice, and making one of the best dash cams currently on the market. I have them in every single one of my cars and will continue to do so until the end of time. And lastly, the other thing which I think is a super cool idea is they've added their wireless Bluetooth remote control tool, which is also super cool. So instead of fidgeting and trying to find the button on the dash cam, you just press this big button here and you're good to go. So like all dash cams, there are many different ways to hardwire or at least install a dash cam. You have the traditional cigarette lighter way that plugs right into the camera. It's easy peasy, one and done. However, then you get this long wire hanging. The second option is using a fuse tap, which is what I'm going to show you. And then the last one is if you have some sort of aftermarket radio like I do, you can hardwire it to the back of this thing and you just route it right up and plug it in right here. So here's everything Viofo sent me. You have the wireless Bluetooth remote control, the Viofo 64GB SD card, the HK6 Dashcam hardwire kit, and of course the dashcam itself. Starting with the Viofo A119M Pro, this is a 4K HDR mini dashcam using the Sony STARVIS 2 sensor, which is known for significantly better night performance and clarity compared to older sensors. It records in true 4K, supports HDR, and has built-in GPS, so your speed, coordinates, and route data are all embedded directly into the footage. Despite how small this camera is, it's designed to prioritize image quality, especially at night, with Viofo's super night vision and improved low light handling. In the box, you get the dashcam itself, mounting hardware, power cable, polarizing lens, and everything needed to get it installed and recording. If you opt for the accessories, one of the first add-ons that I highly recommend is the wireless Bluetooth remote control. This lets you instantly lock clips or trigger recordings without having to reach for the camera while driving. It's small, discreet, and you can mount it pretty much wherever is most convenient, which is especially useful if something happens and you want to save footage immediately. Next is the Viofo 64GB micro SD card. This is extremely important because dashcams need high endurance cards designed for constant recording and overriding. Using a proper card like this helps prevent corrupted files and recording failures, especially when shooting 4K footage. You want to make sure there are no issues when recording an event. And finally, the HK6 hardwire kit. This allows you to hardwire the dashcam directly to your vehicle's fuse box, which means no dangling cables and full support for parking mode. When your car is parked, the camera can now automatically monitor for impacts or motion without draining your battery thanks to built-in voltage protection. And lastly, once everything's installed, setup is straightforward. You insert the SD card, power it on, and you can navigate through the menu directly on the camera or even through the Viofo app. You can clearly see that this camera is set to 4K recording, along with options like HDR, GPS data, and other recording settings. Overall though, for how compact this camera is, the A119M Pro packs in a lot, especially if image quality and night footage are your top priorities. Otherwise, let's install this bad boy. Now, as you guys can see, I'm going to be installing this camera on my 2010 Mazda 3. I already have one hardwired into here. This is the older version, the A119 Mini 2. We're going to be using the Mini Pro, which is the more advanced. I believe this one can only shoot 2K quality, and this one can do 4K, so it is definitely an upgrade worth doing. And honestly, I'll probably end up doing another upgrade to my Audi RS3 there, because that is like one of the original Viofo cameras here. But for the sake of today's video, I'm just going to very quickly show you how to like install this and put the new one in. You legit just pull it off like that, and I believe it even shares the same GPS mount. And then I'm going to slide the new one on and we'll continue testing. But I will show you how to hardwire it just temporarily, and you'll just have to figure out how to run and hide the wire here, here, which is super easy to do, and I've made 100 videos in the past on how to do that. So let's just quickly open this bad boy up. You guys have already seen how to do this. Check it out, check it out. And now let's compare the A119 Mini Pro to the one that I currently have in there, which is the A119 Mini 2. I know they look the same, but different. They are different cameras, and this one is the more advanced one. It has 4K, while the A119 Mini 2 only has 2K. Is it worth the upgrade? That's really up to you. They're both extremely well done cameras here. If you already have the Mini 2, it's probably not worth getting the A119 Mini Pro. But Viofo does offer bigger cameras like the A329S, which is what I have installed in my bigger Mazda CX-50, and that one is well worth the upgrade. That is a much bigger, better all-in-one camera here, but these are awesome cameras as well. So honestly, they are the same. It'll be an easy install. As you can see here, everything is legit identical except for the internals, but otherwise, let's get on with it. So the one thing we need to do is install the little polarizer camera here. These things are awesome. If your camera doesn't have one of these and you have a Viofo, it's definitely worth picking one of these up, because it basically gets rid of all the glares that you might see from driving around, and it makes the video quality that much better, and it is a pretty cheap upgrade. And before I forget, all of these products from Viofo are going to be linked down in the description below, so definitely make sure to check this out. You don't have to buy the entire camera, you know, as a whole with everything. You could, but if you already have this camera or you have similar ones and you just want to do some upgrades to it, which I recommend, you can find everything separately linked down below. But when it comes to installing this, there's a lot of cool protective, like they went above and beyond with their packaging. They really do. Lens covers, you know, different screen protectors, everything is so neatly done with Viofo. Like, for someone with OCD like me, to see the quality put into here that most other camera companies don't do, this is why I love Viofo so much. I mean, this is just genius packaging, the quality, everything. And I love how flushly mounted these cameras are, which I'll show you in a second here. But I think that's it. We have the little screen protector, some ASMR. So nice. I love these cameras so much here. We're gonna take this GPS module off. I think it's probably the same exact thing. And then I'm just going to install this now very easily onto where I originally had the A119 Mini 2, and we're gonna put the Pro on, and it should be plug and play, pretty easy to go. Check it out, here is the Mini 2, and I think it's just as simple as sliding this on, and just like that, it's in. We'll put this power in here, and just like that, we have upgraded our previous dash cam here. But I'm gonna show you really briefly how you would, in theory, mount this or wire this otherwise here, because most people probably don't have this already set up. If you're buying this for the first time, I'm gonna show you the multiple different ways to hardwire this dash cam or get this dash cam powered on. So hopefully you guys remember from the unboxing, you do get, this is the easiest option of them all. What you would do is you get, if you open up the box here, you get this cigarette lighter plug that has a USB port on it, and this is the easiest method for anyone wanting to install this. Like, once you get it, easy plug and play, you're good to go. You take this thing, you plug it into your cigarette lighter, you put power to the camera, and that's it. You take your little wire. I'm gonna use a short one for the sake of the video here, and you know, you get this bad boy plugged in, and I'll wire this on, and you'll see that it gets immediate power. So as you guys can see, if I was to take this camera off, just like this is the new one right here, and we take the, you know, cigarette lighter plug right here, and I plug this in right here, and then we take the USB-C, and we plugged it in here, we turn the car on, we should get immediate power, and this would be the easiest way to hardwire a dash cam. Look, power's on, eventually this should turn on. Just like that. And look, it is filming. It is recording my crotch just like that. Let's turn this around, and now you'd have a fully working dash cam plugged into the USB-C. This is the easiest way, and as you guys remember, it does come with, oh my gosh, a very long USB to USB-C cable, which in theory, you could just plug it in right here and route it underneath your car all the way up here and hide the wire, and you are good to go. That would be the easiest method. Now, let me show you method number 2. Number 2, if you have it, this doesn't apply to everyone, would be hardwiring it to your radio here, which I can show you in my previous video how you would do that. And now that you've seen how to hardwire it into a aftermarket radio, the next step, for most other people, would be using something like a dash cam hardwire kit, or you can even go the easiest route and pick up an OBD reader, which would plug into your OBD port. That's also the easiest one, and that way you can get, you know, parking mode and all the other controls instead of hardwiring it, which to some people might be a little scary. The OBD method is much easier, and I guess a safer, more dummy-proof route than using a hardwire kit for those that are a little uncomfortable with this method. So if you wanted to go the hardwire kit route, what you would need to do is locate your fuse box, which on the 2010 Mazda 3, as you can see, is right here. And what you would need to do is use the included plastic trim tool, which is good for tucking the wire, you know, into the trim here and not scratch anything. Or you can use it as well to just really quickly pop this panel off and locate your fuses. And now what you would need to do is wire the 3 wires here using 2 of the fuse taps as well as the ground. Now, conveniently on this car, the ground is right here, that nut, and then you'd have to find the constant power fuse, which basically means that with this car off, nothing plugged in, key out, one of these fuses or a couple of these fuses are going to be hot constantly. Then you need to find the accessory fuse, which means when this car is in accessory mode with the ignition off, the engine not running, you would find one that is also now hot, only when the car is in accessory mode. And that's as simple as that. You'd pull these out with the battery off and you'd be good to go. You really should pick up a tool like this. This is a probe tester, and it really makes figuring out which fuse to use 1,000 times easier. Now, Viofo doesn't include this tool, but you can pick this up on Amazon for like 10 or 15 bucks, and it is well worth it. I'm going to show you really quickly how you would use this to figure out, you know, which fuse to use. And the first thing you'd want to do is take this ground clamp and just, you know, pretty much ground it out. You could use anything, honestly, either something here, but basically any unpainted is what you would use. I really want to use this. Yep, just like that. So that would be it. We're going to use that nut right there. And then you're going to take this here and we're going to see which gives us 12 volts of power. So we would be first trying to find the red wire here, which is the constant power wire. And simply put, we're going to take our power probe here and just go and start testing fuses and see, oh, look at that. 12.4 on the first try. This is a constant power fuse, and we can use this one for the red wire, but we can go around and test others, and you can see how some other ones don't make this light up, which means these aren't for power constant, but this one is, and this is the one we would pull. And we could test all of these here. Just quickly go around and see which one lights up. Not all will, but some should. Look, here's another one. We can access this fuse as well. We can keep going, and that's pretty much it. It seems like we really only have, oh, we have some more here. This one over here, this is a 25 amp one. We have 15 amps, and then I believe we have another 15 up here that works. And you can see in the included fuses, this one is the proper size, and this one is only a 5 amp, I believe, which is fine because that's all you'd need to run that dash cam. But what you would do is you would pull out this 15 amp fuse here, put this end in there, and then put that 15 fuse in the slot right here, and you would be good to go on that end. Now, when it comes to finding this yellow accessory wire here, what you would need to do is, you know, you need to remember, okay, that fuse is the one that is constantly hot. So let's check these 3 here, which we know for sure don't have power going to it when the engine is off. You can see no power, no power, no power, but this one is just like that. So let's check this row here, and we can probably use one of these fuses when the car is on. So go over, put the key in, just ignition or accessory, sorry. So the engine isn't on, but all the other lights and everything is on. And now what we can do is take our fuse tester and we could check this top row. Look, power, 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 and power. So we know we can access and use any of this top row for the yellow accessory one. And then this ground wire right here, we can just put on that bolt right here. It's as if this car was meant to have a dash cam. So with the battery plugged in and everything connected how it's supposed to be, if we follow this wire, you can see it routes all the way up to the dash cam. And you can see the dash cam is on and the lights are on even when the car is off. Now, obviously you can put this wire where you'd like, and if I was to keep this instead of doing my radio, then I would have wired this, you know, through here like we did, you know, and up and across like I did with this one. But just for right now, to show you how easy it is, I just wired it like this. So this is Viofo's upgraded parking mode feature here. And you can see you have several different options to choose from when it comes to wiring this here. And essentially this is just the safety mode for how low you would like to drain your battery if this car sits, because this is going to have a parasitic drain-like effect. And what I mean by that is plugging this thing in is going to constantly drain power from your battery. That's a decision you have to make. If you're okay with it, you get the option of when cutoff is allowed here. So you can drain it all the way to 11.8 volts. And once this thing picks up that the battery is at 11.8 volts, it will stop drawing power. And ideally, you'd have to turn your car on eventually and it will charge it back up. But if you want to play it safer, you have the option to go to 12 volts, 12.2 volts, or 12.4 volts. I don't know. I can go check to see how long it might drain to get to one of these, because maybe draining to 12.4 volts might take, from when the car's off, a couple of hours, 3-4 hours. But maybe to 11.8, it might be an entire day. I'm going to try to find those stats here and leave it on the screen, or explain it to you guys in a later video for how long you would actually get hours wise in each of these modes. And you can make the decision whether you would like to install this or not. For me personally, I just have the dash cam work when the car is on, and when it is off, then so be it. So now, before I forget, the final step is going to be installing the wireless Bluetooth remote control. And I think if you have the option of getting one of these for your Viofo cameras, it is highly worth it. This thing is a super cool invention that Viofo came up with here. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to install. You can see once you get everything out of this box, we get this little bad boy right here. And simply put, the way to install this thing, and I was trying to figure out where I'd want to install this in the car, somewhere maybe not to get confused with like a push start. I was originally going to put it like right here, because I think this is a cool spot, if you can see, to put it. But I think people might confuse this with a push start. So that led me to wanting to put this thing right over here. And I think this honestly is the best mounting position for this camera. So what you want to do is pull off the 3M tape, as you can see here. You do get some buttons here, so you can actually set this button to do a couple of different things, but I think just the ultimate save mode in case an event happens is the best here. But you also get a mute and non-mute for the audio, and another button over here. So I just want to put this right over here facing up. You can see, I think this looks to be the best right here. Push it down and we are good to go. And then we just pull this out, and now you can see it's blinking red when I press it, and that means that power is on. And I'm going to show you, this doesn't automatically connect to the dash cam, so I'm going to show you really quickly how you would do that here. Just, it's very simple. Turn the car on, at least so this camera can turn on. And with the camera on, as you can see, you just want to hold this button and it should eventually turn blue. So 1, 2, 3, and it's blinking red, and now it's blue, which means it is connected to the camera. So let's see what happens when I press this button. And look at that. Instantly records it as if we just got in an accident or some sort of event that I needed to record. It is that easy. It is that simple. This is a much more convenient button to press than to be trying, I'm driving and to try to fidget around and try to press the correct one. Many times I accidentally press the mic button instead, and I end up missing whatever it is I was trying to record. So this is an awesome invention by Viofo. Kudos to them for coming up with this. This is the A119M Pro recording in true 4K, and during the day you can really see the detail. Road signs, lane markings, and vehicles stay sharp even at a distance thanks to the high 4K 4K bitrate and HDR, which keeps bright skies and darker pavement balanced. The 140-degree field of view gives good coverage without heavy edge distortion, so everything looks natural and readable while driving, which is super important for making sure that the license plates are clear for most of the video. At night, the Sony STARVIS 2 sensor is really doing most of the work here. Low light footage stays clean with less noise and better clarity around headlights and streetlights, and Viofo's super night vision helps control the glare, especially with that polarizer, while keeping darker areas visible, which makes this footage actually usable if something happens. Now you can actually get the license plate numbers, which is so important, and in previous models, it was kind of like a crapshoot. So guys, that should be everything you need to know about the A119M Pro, the Mini Pro. It is a 4K Ultra HD mini dash cam. I love it. It's super sleek. You can see it right there. You can barely notice it. It's hidden, especially if you had one of those mounts over here, or, you know, the big mirrors that have all the tech in it. This would be, you wouldn't even notice it here, which is why I like it so much. But definitely make sure to go check out Viofo. Everything is linked down in the description. All the tools that I used, as well as all their different dash cam options, as well as accessories here. Once again, huge shout out to my friends over at Viofo for sending me this A119M Pro to test out. Hopefully you guys like the video. And with that being said, definitely make sure to smash the like button, turn on post notification, give it a thumbs up if you like today's episode. Any questions at all, drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to them as fast as possible. But I will see you in the next video. Peace.